Hello, Leo. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor. My name is Lenor, and I'm so happy to be here. Welcome to this tea leaf reading. Oh, Leo. Can you tell I'm having a wonderful, wonderful day? It is a Sunday. It is a beautiful day. Things went with ease, and I hope the same is true for you. And if it is not, you get in here. Let's hang out. Let's decompress a little bit and see what we can figure out. Now, we have the Prince of Discs energy. So this is not a bad energy, not at all, actually. This is an energy of motivation, right? Sometimes it might be a little naive, but that's what we need, right? We need a dash of unknowing. We need a dash of possibility. We need a dash of opportunity. But we also need that thing, that wild, silly thing that says, just maybe against all odds, I can make this work. I can do the dang thing, right? And that's that Prince of Discs energy, in my opinion. Is like, all right, then I know it's maybe not the best time, or maybe it's not, the thing that I trained for, went to school for, but I have a passion. And I know this is going to work. I know I can make it a thing. I can build it and grow it and, whatever it is. I was just reading somebody on one of my social media, somebody I know in real life, IRL, right? And I hope that you don't mind if you're watching this. But they are writing a campaign for D&D, right? And she has, I don't think she'll mind me saying this, but has been putting it off for years, right? The last few years. And getting into it and watching this thing come together and the excitement. And now even, like, the words, I might publish this. This might be something I'm going to publish. Come on. That is so fun to see somebody building on their creativity, on their desire, on their love for something, right? So I feel like we have the same kind of energy just sprinkled around over here for you, Leo. And I'm going to get this bowl moving, turning. Oh my goodness. We are getting towards the end of summer, I think, right? This is always the time of year similar to the end of winter where it's like maybe a month or so out and you start thinking, oh, it's over already. Every day you're like, oh, it might be the last good day. And then, you still end up having all these beautiful warm days, hot days. And it goes on and on and on. And then you're like, wasn't it supposed to be over like a month and a half ago? So that's where I'm at. I can feel the turn, absolutely, towards autumn. But I'm getting ahead of myself, I think. I believe. My watermelons are not ready, so it's not time for autumn yet. All right, so we have something going on within the family, and this is like including extended family. We have the big tree. We also have this kind of cave motif down here you can see, in a person within the cave, and a castle, and kind of almost looks like a dungeon. That was like the first thing I thought. Like you've been, imprisoned in some capacity. And the first thing that came to mind is imprisoned by belief, right? And I wonder if this is because I did mention we have the tree, okay? And I feel like, and then it turns into a kind of a valley, right? And when I see the valley, I know there is a sense of like a dash of melancholy, but it is the crossing, right? The crossing at night. If you can imagine, come with me, the dark night of the soul. Okay, we probably all have heard of this, or you have some concept of it. The dark night of the soul is like going out into a storm at night, and it's howling, and you can hear wild cats, screaming, and they sound like people, but they're not, because it's just that eerie kind of like, is that a woman screaming, or is that a cat, or is that an animal, or is that the wind, or this or that, right? That kind of uncanny terror, right? And you go out into the night, and it's this kind of energy flying around you, and you don't know, do I go back? Do I go forward? I've lost all sense of direction. I'm in this thing. It is, if you could imagine like the aesthetic of a night scene in a David Lynch movie, right? Like Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, out there in the desert. It's dark. All you have is maybe a tiny bit of a lamplight, and all you can do is keep moving forward. And you hear the calling, right, of the mother, and this is the dark anti-mother, the archetype here. Now we have Lilith. This is one of the big archetypes for this. Maybe even like Babylon, Eris, Discordia, these kinds of goddesses, right, of chaos, of destruction, even aspects of what people perceive, Kali's destructive side to be. Now, this is a little bit different. These are not the same kind of archetypes exactly, okay? But even like a Rishkagul, right? This is the sister of Ishtar, Inanna, who is Venus, okay? So, but these are the anti-mothers. These are the scary, wicked, bird-footed women of the night. Shout out to my babes, right? So she's calling. She's calling across the void. She's calling for you in the night. And you're scared and you don't know. Do I go forward? Do I follow the voice? Do I go by my own will? Right? And if you do, amazingly, at least in the mythologies of the astral, if you follow her, she will show you to safety. What does this mean? What is this kind of weird, scary? I gotta follow the bird woman across the void to release myself of the melancholy, right? The lead, that Saturn IX stuff. That is all through the prima materia. What is that? The essential material. The stuff that we create everything out of. And we refine it, right? In those first processes, we refine it. We get the lead out of it. We get that Saturn IX melancholy energy driven out. And how do we do that? We follow that rebellious primal energy. And so here we are. I have this distinct energy of the ship, the valley, escaping the confines, the shackles of belief that is not your own, to be raised in, to be conditioned with something that did not align with you whatsoever. And maybe you learned to abide, and maybe you didn't. Maybe you just suffered it. Maybe you took on off, right? Maybe you left the house as soon as you could. You left your culture, your community as soon as you could because it did not make sense to who you know you are. Or at least the many yous and the many things that we all are, right? It doesn't have to be one thing. It could be many things, you know. But I feel like you left. And I feel like in this time, currently, there seems to be, and I have to say it, I have to get over here. I have to move back over to this. Where did it go? Here it is. It says L-I-E. L-I-E, lie, okay? And I really, really believe that this cycle of time, and I'm just overtaken by this feeling that there seems to be, and honestly, it makes me angry. It makes me feel angry in my chest, in my eyes, even in my mouth. I can feel the anger of this. And so I feel like you grew up in this way, whatever it was. It didn't align with you, but there was something there, some kind of hook, right? Something that I feel like it was completely made up, but it was to keep you from going too far away, right? To completely leave. I don't know what it was. Listen, families are complicated. Our origin place is complicated. Show me a person that doesn't have some kind of thing, right, with their family, or where they come from, or, where they grew up, or whatever it is. We all have something. But this thing, I feel like, was used for you to really be tied to them indefinitely. And I feel like, yeah, of course, you're a human being. You have a big heart. You're a Leo, of course. You feel things very deeply, even if people don't realize that about Leos. They think a lot of times you're all just kind of self-absorbed and, not really paying attention to anybody else but yourself. But that's the furthest from the truth. Really. But I feel that it's coming to light. Whatever this secret was, whatever this lie was, it's about to really kind of hit the fan. And that's what I feel, is that there's something that is going to be revealed, and it is a lie. It is a straight up lie. There's no way around it, no misinterpretation or miscommunication or misremembering, or no. This is a lie, and you are going to, you're going to know. You're going to really see what this person is capable of. And I feel like it is a feminine energy. I'm just going to, I feel like it must be like a sister, maybe a mother. God forbid, hopefully not, but somebody, close to you, somebody that must be important because you have, not totally cut them off, but I wonder if that is what is coming. I have to be honest. Now, We have the angel. We have the beautiful, large, I feel such a presence, such a guardianship of you. I do believe you're very active with your muse, with your guardian angel, with your beloved. And I feel like this is kind of one of those big moments where it's like you have known, you've been receiving this information for years. It's time to walk forth, right? To let go of all of the things that are I'm just imagining like zombie hands, like trying to pull you back in the pit kind of thing. Like, it is time to relinquish any kind of responsibility to people that don't consider you barely at all. Beyond, and let me emphasize, beyond how you can help them or how you make them feel. It's not about like how they make you feel. Let me just stop you for a second and think about, when is the last time, I'm not even going to say apologize. That's laughable. That feels laughable. This person doesn't apologize. But when is the last time that they even like verbally uttered a word about how you must feel about something? How something has affected you and your kids and your family. They haven't. They haven't. You can't even remember, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. I feel like it feels very familiar. A lot of us have these strained dynamics, but I feel like for you, you've hit that point. And that is the focus of everything right now, is that, listen, I've given enough of my time, my effort, my attention for something that isn't even true. So the fallout of this feels, and I think this is why we have that angel, and we do have the tower, but I do feel like the fallout of this is, it's hard to understand reality when some fundamental part of your understanding is revealed as like a lie, right? Like, I can't, it's like, I'm not saying this is the case, but this is like one of the things, the examples I can think of that would be really hard as an adult, finding out that like your dad's not your dad, but they've been telling you that your whole life. And it's kind of like, listen, and I'm not going to make any judgments about how people do their business, why they would, why they wouldn't. I can understand both sides, okay? But I'm trying to get to a point where you can understand, or whatever, like how like the paradigm shift would be such a mind, what I'm saying, right? Your mind would be kind of in a dizzy. That's a big thing to find out about yourself, especially if like you never even, questioned it. Now, I will say, and I'm looking at this, we have the name Mark right over here. Mark. Right? Mark. Yeah, that sounds right. Mark. I don't think I've known that many Marks in my life. Although it was kind of a popular name, a little bit older than me, maybe like more into the deep Gen X era. But yeah, Mark. Okay, Mark. Now, because of my understanding of language and its many variations, a mark can also be, right? A mark can also be somebody who is kind of chosen for scam, right? To get something out of you, right? You're marked as somebody who is easy to get over on. Now, I don't think that's the case here. We're talking about a Leo anyways. Who's going to get over on a Leo? But I do feel like the name Mark is important. Now, I feel like it just keeps coming back to this. I mean, this family stuff. I just feel like for you, there is a bit of relief down beneath it all. And I think that is because this gives you full permission from yourself to walk away. We have the number 28. We have the number 833. And I want to know. We're going to look. I'm going to look at this one in a minute here. But I want to try the cards. I want to ask, these are the Oracle of the Radiant Sun cards. And I do just want to ask like one question for Leo. And I have to say, this is also selfish. I have a lot of Leo placements. Important ones, my Venus, my Mars, my Jupiter. I know. Did you just groan? Like, can you imagine my poor husband? Very demanding lady over here. Very passionate lady over here. But yeah, so I want to ask, I want to see what is through this doorway. What is through this doorway? Because all of this stuff is going on and so focused on this thing that's happening with this family member. But it's also a release. It is also permission to do what? Because this, often for me, when something gets dislodged from my life and it is like a fundamental shift, I have these moments where I think, oh my gosh, I have all this room now in my life for something else. And what am I going to do with it? Right? So I want to know, what are we going to do with it? Okay, so we have choice. Of course we have choice, right? Order. Fulfillment. So, I mean, in my head, this makes sense. It's like, okay, I have a choice to make here. I'm going to get everything in order. I'm going to get everything cleared out here. I'm going to get things back to where I can look at what everything is. What do I have? What do I not have? What are my options, right? Now, fulfillment. So I do feel like it is. You're going to go for that thing that you really, really want. Now, can we have clarity about what this might be? Because I am nosy. Convention, which is what we've been talking about. Endurance. Okay, so this, again, back into echoing about the childhood, right? Having to live a life of convention, maybe very traditional, orthodox, like maybe a kind of a closed kind of community or society. Now, let's go ahead. Discovering. To me, it's just so much about pulling out into the world. The authority of your own life, the control. It's so much about like Being able, yes, in a lust. And that's what it is. It really, I feel like it must come down to, there's this like extreme sense of control. I want to get away from all of that. I want to like break free. I need to break free. And there's this thing, this last thing. And it just, you finally see it for what it is. You can hear it. You can taste it. Your very being says, you know what? I'm done, dude. I am up out of here. I am done. Do you hear me? I'm done. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? And at the end of that frustration, it's like a breaking through. I pulled the drapes open. The freaking sun is shining. I'm feeling good. I'm busting open the door. Have you ever seen, and this is terrible and it's so sad, but have you ever seen like when a dairy cow gets like released from its prison, from its life of, have you seen how they run, how excited they are to meet the day, to get out there, to move? Yeah. Yeah. It's coming. Don't worry. It's coming. And I feel it. I feel it building up. Ready to go. So anyhow, let's take one last look at this. I saw some numbers over here too that I wanted to see. So we do have movement. We have number 2. It says Mr. Jordan, maybe Mr. Jerry. It's a J name, but we have Mr. and some name down here, starting with a J. Jerry, Joy. There's also Joy, Joy. It could be Mr. Happy, Mr. Joy. I like it. But I do feel, yes, I do feel I would say that I feel like you're going to be closer with your friends and stuff, but honestly, I feel you kind of going on like a solo love affair. I don't like, it feels like there's a lot of love, there's a lot of lust, but I feel you kind of, I don't know, being kind of in this like solitary place, at least mentally. I just feel like it's like you are, like I'm back on the market type of deal. Like now I don't know that that's the case, right? But you have that kind of excitement, right? Like I'm going to see what's out here until you realize like, I don't know. From what I read, dating is difficult these days. But yeah, I feel just an excitement. It feels good. I feel like you feel good. You feel good. Yeah. Yes, that's it. You feel good. Now let's get our 3 numbers going. Our 3 lucky numbers. Number 11. Number 11. 98. Number 98. Number 10. Number 10. All right, 11, 98, and 10. Leo. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to do our Wild Offering Oracle cards, and then we're going to be out of here. We're going to be done. I'm going to flip through, stop where it feels right. And it says, change. Don't scare yourself with the next 40 steps. All you need is that one next action. Just the one step, right? You can say to love, just show me the first step and change me into one who can take it. I'll tell you what, those baby steps, you don't be dismissive of them. You got to build up to things. I have really learned that in this last year on my little changing my life adventure that I've been on. Yeah, you do. And a lot of times it just feels silly at first. Like, why am I doing this? Well, I don't know. This isn't going to change anything, you know? A big one that really surprised me is I've been doing the intentional movement. If you've been following my readings at all, or, the other channels and our personal lives and things. And I've been doing intentional movement for, a little over a year, but I have been on a real intentional changing my body. Right? That's what we'll say. It's not just about weight loss. That's part of it, but not really, not the biggest thing. But it is an outcome, right, of what I've been doing. So I've been doing this intentional movement, and the one big thing that I really thought, this is not, like, these can't do anything, are resistance bands. Those, they look like big rubber bands. And I thought, nah, there's no way, right? These are just, okay, whatever. But I liked them because I could put them in my bag. And after about the first 2 weeks, and I know it sounds like a long time, but really it's not. And it goes by so quickly. After the first 2 weeks, I started to feel my shoulders and my arms. And I was like, yo, something's going on here. It's starting to get a little more, like muscly, a little more firm, it's kind of, feels like a little shield is coming in there, and you will be surprised what even just those first baby steps will do for you, right? And it's anything. Learning how to knit, right? Learning how to swim, growing a business, starting, it's like mowing lawns. You do a couple of yards and you build it up, and you buy more equipment and you build it up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's baby steps, but we don't always recognize how important and fundamental those baby steps really are. They're the thing that's going to get you from one point to the next. The big leaps and all of the milestones and, things to celebrate. Yeah, those are great. Hopefully they help keep you going. But it's the little things. It's those days that go unsaid. The things that are the days where you just do it. You don't tell anybody. You don't, you don't marvel at yourself. You just do the thing, and that's what gets us where we're going ultimately. So anyways, Leo, I love you. You're amazing. Thank you for being here with me. I wouldn't want to be with anybody else right now. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. If you have a prayer request, you can put that in the comments, or you can email it to me over at ulaishere@gmail.com. I get lots of emails lately, and I don't always get back to everybody. I'm just going to be real with you. That doesn't mean I don't read them. I always pray. If I get a prayer request, I will think about you for sure. And, I have set a boundary for myself that I do not reply to more than like 4 or 5 emails or, emails in a day, or in a couple days, depending on what's going on in my private life. But, we busy over here. I am from day to night. But yeah, about 5 of them. So sometimes I might miss your sending you a message back, but that does not mean that I didn't read it. I love you. We'll talk soon. Take care of yourself.